Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Harvesting Justice podcast. This episode is episode 8, and this is a solo episode. You just got me today, Melanie Salazar, the executive director, and the release day of this episode is actually the 2-year anniversary of being in my role as executive director with Pro-Life San Francisco. So in this special commemorative celebratory episode, I wanted to kind of take you on a journey over the past 2 years. I want to go over some milestones, some accomplishments that we were able to do together and give you a teaser of what's to come. If you're watching this in video form, you will see that I have on a really cute pink hat with some sparkles because if you remember, part of my pro-life story is that originally I am from the great state of Texas. Yeehaw, remember the Alamo. But I have since left my heart in San Francisco. And how did I, a Texan, end up here? You may wonder. I know I swam upstream. I went against the current. Most of the time, people are going from California into Texas and not the other way around. Well, I've been a pro-life activist since 2018 when I was in college. I got started when I discovered a pro-life group, restarted that group, and I was just really launched into the pro-life movement, doing a lot of political activism, sidewalk advocacy, and you name it. I've probably done some shape or form of pro-life advocacy in that realm. So I was outside the Supreme Court the day that Roe v. Wade was reversed, the moment that it was overturned, which was a historic moment. I look back, I cannot believe I was there. If you happen to have been watching the news that day, you may have seen my screaming face. And life became legally protected in my home state of Texas. I always preface that by saying legally, because I am aware people have free will to leave the state. They can cross state lines, and you can try to have good laws, and still people will do bad things, such as involve themselves with abortion pill trafficking. So I acknowledge there's still a lot of work to be done. So at least on the books, there is no legal way to acquire an elective abortion in the state of Texas. So when life became legally protected in my home state, I began feeling convicted that I was no longer needed there. Clearly, there's still a lot of work to be done in Texas and places like it. I just felt, for me, my gifts and my calling, I was meant somewhere where child killing was still very much the law of the land. So I prayed, where do you want me to go, Lord? And I got a call that Pro-Life San Francisco needed a new executive director. And can you believe it has been over 2 years now since that phone call? Over 2 years since saying yes to this position, and almost 2 years since moving my life and my family to the West Coast for the California dream, baby. So that's how I, a Chicana girl from Texas, ended up in San Francisco, California, of all places. And I have fallen in love with the city, I gotta say. Before we moved here, a lot of people would make comments to me and my husband, like, be careful, watch out. And I think it's because people are scared of what they don't know. There's a lot of anti-California propaganda in Texas, some of which that is based in reality, I will say, but it's not bad everywhere all the time. And there's good people everywhere. Where sin abounds, grace abounds more, and the light shines brighter in the darkness. So I came into this role with a lot of ideas that I wanted to bring based off of lived experiences and things I learned while in Texas. So let me just take you through a list of some of those ideas that became a reality and other accomplishments that we've done in these past 2 years. So one of the biggest things was creating the one-stop shop life-affirming directory website called Bay Area Repro Care.com. Now, that was inspired by my time in the sidewalk with the San Antonio Coalition for Life. The San Antonio Coalition for Life in Texas created its own directory life-affirming website called carereferral.info. And then through that brand, we had literature with that same marketing to hand out on the sidewalk. So inspired from what I learned from the pro-lifers back in San Antonio, I wanted to copy, paste, replicate that here. It was an idea. And thanks be to God, over time and hard work, that became a reality. So you can go to bayareareprocare.com right now, and you will see this website for yourself. I myself, if you don't already know, not only did I move my life to the West Coast, but I was doing it all while also navigating my own pregnancy for the first time. My son is now 15 months old. Actually, he's closer to 16 months now, but I have a toddler now. He walks completely. That's his preferred mode of transportation. And because I was navigating my own pregnancy in a new place, I was looking for resources. I was looking for support. I was looking for a community. And so I myself firsthand got to experience all of the amazing resources, or a lot of the amazing resources that San Francisco has to offer. With my firsthand experience and a lot of online research came all the resources I've compiled into bayareareprocare.com. So one of the biggest dreams that became a reality. A second big accomplishment would be also something inspired from my time in Texas, was spearheading the launch of the Bay Area Life-Affirming Coalition. And the purpose of this coalition is to unite pro-life leaders from an array of life-affirming ministries and organizations. And that was something that I saw done very well in Austin, Texas. They called it ALAC, the Austin Area Life-Affirming Coalition. And so that was a gathering of not only political leaders, sidewalk advocates, student leaders, pregnancy resource center persons. So you name it, all these different facets, key players in the pro-life movement, having a coalition to get together every few months, be in community, strategize, and support one another. So I wanted to create that here. And a couple months ago, that too became a reality. Now, not to be mistaken, this is not a group for any and every pro-lifer in the Bay Area. BAYLAC, Bay Area Life-Affirming Coalition, is specifically for people who are leaders of pro-life ministries and organizations. So if that's you, if you are a key player in an already functioning ministry organization, or maybe you're starting your own thing, please reach out to me. And I would love to have you at our next BAYLAC meeting. We, as Pro-Life San Francisco, also began doing mutual aid outreach. Repro share fairs are what they're called, inspired by our friends, the Progressive Anti-Abortion Uprising. These forms of mutual aid are really a form of protest against the abortion industrial complex, to say that we protect us as the community, we support us. And it's also a way to show tangible effort that, yes, as pro-lifers, we are not only pro-birthers, even though being pro-birth is a good thing, to want healthy, prosperous births to be happening. And a way how you can contribute to our Repro Share Fairs is through our Amazon wish list link on our website underneath our Repro Share Fair campaign tab. So that was another dream that later became a reality. Also, this most recent January, was at the very front in the very center of the West Coast Walk for Life, holding the giant banner that I believe says abortion hurts women. And that was, I think, a huge accomplishment for Pro-Life San Francisco, because we as an organization have existed for going on a decade and have never really had a key role in the West Coast Walk for Life, which, if you're not familiar, I'm assuming most of this audience are Californians, but if you happen to not be a West Coast person, you may have been unfamiliar with what is the West Coast Walk for Life. So think of the National March for Life in DC. This is kind of like a sister event on the other coast for those West Coast peoples who may not be able to make the trek all the way to the East Coast to participate at our nation's capital. So it was such a big deal, I think, for me, representing Pro-Life San Francisco, to be at the very front and the very center of the banner to represent you, the Pro-Life SF audience, the Pro-Life SF community. I think that was a really big step. And I hope as time goes on, we will continue to play more of a key role in the West Coast Walk for Life. It is an annual event, and we as Pro-Life San Francisco exist all year round. And so it would be really great to get to partner more strategically. So God willing, that will happen in the future. And we've also, for the past couple of years, have stood strong in Sacramento at the statewide California March for Life. We've gotten opportunities to table. And not this recent California March for Life, but the one before, I was hella pregnant, y'all. I was so pregnant. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I just combined like a Californian slang and then Texas slang. I was hella pregnant, y'all. That's funny. A big thing that we did in this 2-year time span was fight against Prop O, actually called the Reproductive Freedom Act. I ever so compassionately called it the Reproductive Discrimination Act, because what Prop O seeks to do, if it ever does come into fruition, is to, the big sticking point. There were other points underneath this proposition, but the big point was to put signs outside of the 2 life-affirming clinics in the city, telling the public that these clinics are limited service clinics because they do not provide abortion. And here's where to go if you want to seek out an abortion. And I'm calling that, still am, calling Prop O the Reproductive Discrimination Act, because there's not equivalent signage going to be put outside of abortion businesses telling people where they can go if they want to parent and want to keep their baby, if they change their mind about abortion. So this is just not equality. And we were the leading voice speaking out against Prop O. We were working closely in partnership with the Office of Human Life and Dignity at the San Francisco Archdiocese. And if you got your San Francisco voter guide, you had the opportunity to read an opposition statement against Prop O, and that was us. That was Pro-Life San Francisco. So that was a big effort fighting against that. Now, another big thing was planning and executing our first ever benefit dinner last year. Oh my gosh. And we did that on a shoestring budget. If you happen to have been there at that first dinner event, I applaud you. I thank you. And I hope you appreciated it for what it was, which was a grassroots crew doing their best with the resources that they had. And we're still doing our best. This upcoming October 18th, 2025 is going to be our second Night for Life support raising dinner, which is really exciting. I've been sending out the link constantly in all of our emails, and I'm not sure if there's a way to find the dinner on our website. We need to update our website so that it's easy for you to just find the link and buy your tickets. But if you're subscribed to our emails, go look at the emails, go find the link. If not, subscribe to our emails and you will be sent the link. And please purchase a seat. Encourage your friends and family, community to purchase a table, and I would love to have the room maxed out at maximum capacity. So that was really big. Last year we had our keynote speaker was Jason Jones from the Vulnerable People Project. He is also a pro-life movie producer. He does a lot of work through his ministry, VPP, to fight for the forgotten, the most vulnerable in countries in the Middle East, and especially in Gaza most recently. And in this upcoming dinner, we are having two guest speakers, Dr. Michael New, who is a pro-life economist. He is the pro-life data guy. And he's going to be sharing with us actually some good news on data for the pro-life movement in California. So stay tuned for that. And then we will also be hearing a personal testimony from my friend Edgar Pacheco, who is a quadriplegic. You don't know that word, meaning he has no arms, no legs. And Edgar formerly ran for office in the state of Texas. And currently he is a disability rights, special needs activist, lobbyist. He does a lot at the state capitol in Texas to advocate for those populations. So we'll get to hear his pro-life testimony. So that will be exciting and also a beautiful night. I'm so glad I've done it first time so that I already know what to expect the second time around. Hopefully, right? So, okay. Also, in the span of 2 years, we've managed to educate our community through public speaking invitations, student interviews, and media reporting. And let me just tell you, we do a lot of student interviews. You may not think that's a thing, but we get so many emails from students reaching out, asking for interviews because they're doing a project on a hot topic, pro-life versus pro-choice. And when they look up pro-life in San Francisco, we easily pop up as like top search results. So we get a lot of students who reach out, and I admit I have not done a good job at like marketing that and like showing that that is something we as Pro-Life San Francisco do to be a voice, a pro-life figure speaking into these young people directly and into their projects and, you know, being an influence in that way. I don't really know how to show that off because like, what am I going to do? Take a selfie with the student that's probably a minor and only talking to me for the sake of their project. And every student who I've done an interview with, I always say to them, please send me your final project. I would love to read it. Like, I'd love to see whatever conclusions you come to. I would love to read the final product. I have yet for one student to send me their final paper. So I shed a tear. Very sad, womp womp. Oh well. But yeah, student interviews, another big part of our pillar of educating our community. And of course, throughout these years, we have organized rallies, we've organized vigils, we've organized webinars, we've organized social meetups for just having community. We've done court support for David Daleiden. We've done public comment against UCSF's fetal research, or at least attempted comment, because the one day we did attempt to go, there were many Gaza persons there, and we did not get a chance to get our names called, which was such a letdown. But I'm happy for those people to have been so passionate for their cause and to have had the opportunity to speak out. And then we've also been doing monthly Harvesting Justice podcast episodes. Now, this podcast, I really wanted to be consistent with it. You may have seen way back when there was a pilot episode, there was episode 1, and then there was episode none. There was no continuation after that first release. And that first video, I definitely encourage you to go watch, take a listen, because there's so many golden nuggets in there. Now, something that I've wanted to bring to the table in my role as executive director is consistency, transparency, always showing up and building trust with the pro-life SF audience and supporters. So one big thing of me showing up, being consistent, has been doing monthly Harvesting Justice podcast episodes. And like I said, this is episode 8. I believe the first episode went out, I don't know, was that March 1st or February 1st? Somebody do the math. I mean, if this is going out September 1st and that's the 9th month of the year, then yeah, I think the first episode went out March, April, May, June, July, August, September. What? Did the first one go out January 1st? Anyways, you do the math. We've been doing this consistently because that's something I, as an executive director, wanted to bring to the table, is being a consistent, transparent leadership figure, being reachable, being accessible, and being transparent. So all these things have been done while also continuing the quiet, faithful, behind the scenes work of keeping the organization afloat. And if you don't already know, I'm very transparent that we are a volunteer team of 2. We do not want to be volunteers. We have done a lot of work to try to be able to support ourselves, because you can't save the world if you can't pay rent, as one wise proverb says. And so we've been doing a lot of behind the scenes work for no pay, really all for the sake of mothers and their preborn children. So as you can see, I've listed off many things that we've done in the span of 2 years. So in just 24 months, we've gone from a lot of these visions, ideas that I had in my head, to reality, to bringing an infrastructure, hopefully for a lasting pro-life presence in San Francisco. But I want to believe that this is only the beginning. And I want to give you a little teaser of something that's to come. You already know October 18th, 2025 is going to be our second Night for Life dinner. But what else is coming? I believe an email went out about it today, August 28th, is the creation, the launching of a new tool, a powerful tool, I hope, tool to be able to hopefully actually move the needle against fetal organ harvesting. And that is the launch of the website ethicalresearchnow.org. So it's been 10 years since the undercover videos exposed Planned Parenthood's trafficking of baby body parts. And UCSF continues to harvest and experiment on aborted fetal tissue right here in our beloved city, in our backyard. And Pro-Life SF is now preparing to launch this website, ethicalresearchnow.org, a dedicated platform to exposing UCSF's fetal organ harvesting program and rallying public pressure for ethical alternatives. It will be a way for you, the public, to directly voice your moral outrage, your concerns to the UCSF regents and any person in power within the UCSF system who could make a tangible difference against the fetal organ harvesting. But we need your help to get it off the ground. So I want to encourage you to make a gift to prolifesf.org/donate. I believe that's the link. Let me make sure I'm getting it right. And you will be able to fund the website design and development, the investigative research and public records, the public reports on UCSF's activities, and media campaigns to demand accountability from UCSF leadership. You know, the people in power within the abortion industrial complex, are counting on public ignorance. But together, we can make sure the truth is impossible to ignore. So again, let me tell you where you can go to support this work. I was right the first time. Go to prolifesf.org/donate, and you will be able to fund the launching of ethicalresearchnow.org. My hope is that this website will be up and running by October 18th. You will get to see it at the dinner. I will show it on the big screen. Everyone will be able to take out their phone, scan the QR code, sign the petition, send the emails, make a stand against the unethical fetal organ harvesting practice that's happening at UCSF. So that's a big thing that's coming up. Something that I've thought as an executive director is always, what can I do that is going to outlive me, that's going to outlast my role, my time? Because the world turns, life goes on, and I'm going to age, right? Which reminds me, I just celebrated my birthday 2 days ago on August 26th. So happy birthday to me. Thank you to my mother for giving birth. And I think about, what tools, what things can I do? How can I set up an organization to be in a great place, even if I'm not around? And one of those things was Bay Area Repro Care.com. As long as there are the funds to keep the website going and managed, that website will outlive me. And so will ethicalresearchnow.org. So again, I want to encourage you. This is the Harvesting Justice podcast that is focused on fetal organ harvesting. I want to encourage you that if you have a passion for this, if this breaks your heart, to go to prolifesf.org/donate to be able to get this website up off the ground, launched into the public. You know, for many years, Pro-Life SF has done public testimony at the UC Regents when they are in San Francisco, which is honestly few and far between, because it looks like the next time they will be here in person is this upcoming January of 2026, which will be around the same week as the West Coast Walk for Life. So another little teaser is, we would hope to plan a week of action around those days. So again, for many years, Pro-Life SF has been doing public testimony, public comment. There's been different protests and demonstrations, and I'm someone that I really want to move the needle. I really want to do the thing that's going to be most effective. And it seems like for years, the public comments, the public testimonies have fallen on deaf ears. Now, I don't want to believe that that was true all the time and every moment with every person, with every regent, but it's hard to see the fruits of the labor, right? I'm sure there were some seeds planted, I want to believe. And so I really hope that with this website, with endless possibilities for as many people as possible to send emails directly to the regents and to their bosses and to their bosses, whoever the hierarchy needs to be who could make a change within this system, that there will be extra push, that maybe, just maybe, the needle will actually move to end fetal organ harvesting at UCSF and to demand for that ethical research now. So that's something that's coming up in the next couple months. And again, our dinner is happening October 18th. I will actually pull up for you the link of where you can go. I think you should be able to search eventbrite.com, Night for Life 2025, Pro-Life San Francisco. Use those keywords and it should be able to pop up for you. But again, you can subscribe to our email list and you will definitely have the link sent to you in upcoming emails. And we send out emails at least a couple times a week to keep you, our PLSF community, audience, supporters in the know. So that is everything I have for you. It has been a wild 2 years in this role. It's been a really trying, difficult 2 years in this role, and doing it all while navigating my own pregnancy in a new place, having to start over with finding community, finding resources. And then it's a story of its own, but I did not get the birth I wanted. I did not get the breastfeeding experience I wanted. I ended up having postpartum depression. And despite all that, all those struggles, I look back at the list that I read to you of all the accomplishments that have happened in this span of 2 years, and I am amazed. I'm thankful for God being able to use me, and I am impressed at what all has been able to be done. And like I said, there's been a lot public facing that goes out that you, the public, get to see. And then there's also the day to day quiet work behind the scenes to keep the ball rolling, to keep this organization going. So if you want to see ethicalresearchnow.org launched, if you want to be able to sign that petition and email the regents and the people in power to demand for ethical research now, please go to prolifesf.org/donate. And I want to thank you for listening if you made it this far. Thank you for believing in me, in my role. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for coming along for this wild journey that is life and watching me grow these past 2 years. And it has been a time of like charcoal, a lot of pressure forming me into hopefully a diamond. So thank y'all so much for tuning in to this episode of the Harvesting Justice podcast, and hope you will stay tuned, subscribe to our email list, and hope you will listen to the next episode. Bye.